Well, good morning. It is a rainy morning here in September, end of September in Ludington. We have quite a bit still to do on the boat. It is 14 days before we depart here and take off. Scott and Sully on Dreamer have just left Detroit this morning. I'm tracking him on Nebo as he brings Dreamer around the Great Lakes over to Ludington. He'll take about 2 weeks to get here. When he gets here, we're taking off together. We'll spend the day on the boat today doing what we can, crossing things off our list. Then we'll head back out to the house for a few days, work on some stuff there, get back to work, organize that. Back to the boat for some more projects here. So it's rainy, a little cool out there. We're going to take advantage of the inside day and get whatever we can done. And hopefully the weather breaks and we can get a few outside things done too. As you may have seen in previous videos, Andromeda has a ridiculously loud horn. One of the previous owners must have put it on. But this is the air tank, and that little silver motor in the back is the air pump. And it comes out of this unit here, connects to that hose here, and goes up to the horns on the roof. And it sounds like a small ship or a semi-truck. It's nice to have for safety. It's a little crazy, but it has been leaking and then blowing the little horn reset here. So it's been doing that since, well into our loop. So it's something that if I know we're going to need the horn, I'll reset it. It's not good to not have the horn at the ready. So what I've got is a new hose that goes from the tank here back to the motor. And this is a special hose from Air, who makes the air pump, and it comes with a check valve built into it. I'm a little suspect of this check valve, that might be where the air is leaking out. So we ordered a new hose, new check valve, all comes together. I'm going to put that on today and connect it and see if it will hold air and not leak and continuously run the motor. If it does, then I'm guessing I have to follow this line that goes up to the roof, and maybe there's a small leak on the air horn itself up top. We've been noticing a lot of corrosion on things from our time in saltwater. So first step though is a new air hose with a check valve built in, and see if we can't get her to hold air and not run the motor nonstop. We have the air hose connected to the pump, the motor, and connected now to the storage tank for the air. Again, this is the check valve, and on it is labeled a torque spec. So I'm going to be real careful with this valve, go down and get the torque wrench and make sure I torque it exactly to what it says on there. And then we'll flick the switch and see if she holds air. Got the torque wrench. The only thing we put on there was a box wrench. So I need to go to Harbor Freight and get some of these so I could use the torque wrench to finish tightening that little check valve down. So we're going to do that now, turn the power on, and hope this thing holds air. We have some pinholes still in those wires that I have not filled in with liquid tape yet. And I just don't want to do that until we have our final testing from John and Cummins. So I'm going to hook this hose to the other end of our air compressor and just set it back in the cradle here and loosely bolt it into place and then reset the fuse. But I'm not going to permanently mount it two reasons. One, if this air tank requires more repair or doesn't hold, the leak doesn't hold, and or if John comes and needs to get to these throttles, or if we don't need to get to those throttles, I still need to get under there and fill in those pinholes. Watch the pressure come up. Hopefully it gets to somewhere around 120 and holds. Should hold permanently, or once in a while the motor kick on, but not leak enough out that the motor runs and pops that fuse. So see what happens. So the pump has shut off, as it's designed to do. When it reaches about 115 or so, it stops. Looks like it's holding. I can't see the gauge moving. So what typically happens is we go about our day, and every once in a while we can hear the air compressor running. That's the compressor back there. And then we hear the compressor more and more often. And then we stop hearing the compressor because this little breaker pops. So it appears to be holding. I can't see the needle moving. Maybe we've at least slowed down the leak if we haven't stopped it, so we'll see what happens. The one more task on the list today is to change our freshwater filter, back flush our water softening system, and do a regen on our water softening system. We did do that before we left on our last loop, and we put it on our spring and winter, before we put the boat away, and when we take the boat out we do it. But we've been reading up on it. It should be done every 3 months or so, especially when we're traveling on the loop and use so many different water sources when we go to different marinas, hard water, whatever. So we're gonna do that today, change the filter, do the regen, do the back flush. We're gonna put a little mark on the calendar and try and do a better job of that this time around. This is our softener tank that has some beads in it that treat the water. That is a pre-filter before it goes into here. So we're going to change the filter in this little guy, and we're actually writing it on the side now when we change the filter. And then we're going to pull this tank out and do a regen and a back flush. Pressure's off. I almost made a comment when I opened that lid that I think also one thing that's going to happen is somebody's going to want to organize this a little better while we're in here today.
Of course.
But
I actually think I need to defungal it.
a little gross in there.
It's a little gross in here. But
well, we got to let the regen go for a half hour. So maybe we get that running and
but that's going to be all out. I can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's like filters everywhere in random spots.
I feel a little damp to me too.
Yeah. Well, this does get wet in here, so that's why it's got that drain, but...
We've got the supply line coming in from the dock into the outlet side, so it's actually going in backwards. pushing everything backwards through that unit. And now we'll just let it do this for 30 minutes.
This is something funny. This is our soot exhaust remover. Look at the container. So I gotta wipe that down. So I'm gonna wipe all the things down, but inside here is, this was here when we got here. It just kind of separates everything for the water unit. But then we've got those little lift up trays, those little, I don't know what they're called, but they keep everything off the ground, but they're nasty. They're right now, I don't know how to clean that. Like I probably don't even have to, but it's gross. I don't know if it needs to be clean, but I want it to be clean. So.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts to wipe it all down and start fresh.
Right, I'm just not sure it's like wiping it down, like it's, I don't know.
I had a feeling when I looked in there that someone was gonna want to do this a little more detailed than I was, and I'm pretty happy that that's how you look at things, because I'd have left it.
Right. This is nasty.
That is pretty nasty. And that's our little tile stuff. What would you call that? Like keeps things off the ground?
Yes.
Yeah. We were able to pull that out in one piece, and we're going to power wash that. I think it's just a combination of exhaust and mold and dirt, and it's just one of those areas that doesn't get cleaned, but here we are. So
here we are.
Now's the time.
Not sure why I decided to wear my white Andromeda shirt, though. It might need to be rethought.
Yes, we are auctioning off a used white Andromeda hoodie.
Yeah.
Sure it'll come clean.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I suppose that mat's good for letting air flow around and letting things drip, but it doesn't seem like it's easy to clean.
Oh yeah, look at it. Well, I think it's just because of the exhaust. I mean, I think
This might even be exhaust from our Orange Beach.
I think that's exactly what it is, because that's when it was coming up from the back.
Yeah.
Because it was all in the cockpit, in the like the cooler things where I keep the cleaning stuff and the lines. It was all in there.
This has run for 30 minutes in the opposite direction. So basically fresh water's coming in and pushing everything back through here, back flush. So now we'll take the water supply from the city off, and we will dump this out so the container is empty, and then we will start the regen, which is basically adding a container of salt, table salt, and then letting the water run real slow. So first step is to disconnect the lines. We always end up putting this cap on too tight, and we say we're not going to do it, and every time we do. So now we're going to add an entire container of basically iodized table salt. We'll pour it in slow, and if it gets clogged up, we kind of tap it down in. Put the lid back on. Not so tight this time. Now we'll hook the water supply up correctly so that it goes in the inside and produces just a stream of water let that run for about 10 minutes. We have just a trickle coming out, and now we have to let that go for 10 minutes. As always, Kathy did an incredible job of cleaning up in there. We've got that about as clean as it'll ever be. So she's going to hand it to me off the dock and
Show the before and the other one.
well, here's the other half we still have to do. That's pretty gnarly.
And it's not just the top, it's the bottom.
So,
So the top and bottom of this one.
you want to bring that word back?
Vogue.
Vogue.
Gnarly.
Gnarly. It's been 10 minutes on a trickle. I'm going to go up to the dock and now crank it to full power. And we're going to run it for another 5. Regen has been running full power for 5 minutes. I'm going to go up and turn the dock water off and we're going to put it all back together. And look at how clean this water locker is.
Yeah,
Amazing compared to what it was.
yeah, even means we didn't realize that those were supposed to be more white than we've ever seen them. I can't get this off, but I think that's also,
Might be just the color of the gel coat.
yeah, but you can kind of see,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's supposed to be white too.
When we impacted in Alabama, the exhaust was rolling up the back of the boat. I'm not sure why, maybe just because we were going so slow, but it really did roll through this cabinet and through a lot of the cockpit. And of course, everything we see, we were able to re-clean, but some of these cabinets we dig into, and then the exhaust leak that last summer didn't help either, I'm sure.
No.
We're done with the regen on this. We've hooked the city water back up to the boat, and before we put it all back together, this little pre-filter has a cartridge filter inside it. So and this is where the water comes in first from the city supply. So we're going to put a new cartridge in, label it. Been trying to get better at labeling when we put them in, and then I'll assemble the whole system. Water comes in from the dock, comes in back here and goes into this pre-filter and then goes in through the water softener. Now we will connect the outlet side of the water softener to the pressure regulator that feeds the rest of the boat. This pressure regulator, no matter how hard the pressure is coming in from any dock, it only allows a certain amount to go into Andromeda's plumbing system so it doesn't blow it apart. We have a Velcro strap that goes around these two units to keep them sort of from flopping around. We have a new filter. We did a regen and we did a back flush, so our system is good for another 3 months or so, 90 days. We'll do it again, or if we feel something's weird with the water or we're somewhere sketchy, we'll probably do it again. But we are going to try and get better at doing this every 90 days. So now I'm going to go turn the dock water back on, come check it out, make sure there's no leaks, and we'll wrap it up.
No leaks.
No leaks.
Now I gotta do this.
So what'd we forget?
Iron out. And you didn't tighten this too hard, did you?
I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
We forgot one final step, or I did. It is recommended to add a couple teaspoons of iron out right into the unit. And just depending on where you are, heavy iron content or whatever, it helps to keep the iron out of the system. So as Kathy was cleaning the bottles, she found our bottle of iron out and the light bulb went out for both of us. So 2 teaspoons going in. There you go. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me. Another little item to cross off the list was our water heater. Our friend Dennis came down and helped me change a high limit switch and a thermostat, but we've noticed that the hot water is extremely hot, like really hot. So I'm taking a temperature measurement of the hot water today to send to Dennis. He's been messing the sink, but we're busy working on stuff today. And that's just a little too hot. That is kind of a dangerous temperature to jump in the shower. So I'm going to get that info to Dennis and see why. Typically, like in residential stuff, water heaters are about 120 degrees. Why this is 165, I don't know. And there is no temperature adjustment on the water heater. So it's a preset thermostat. So I don't know if there's a voltage thing or something else wrong, but we got to sort this out.
So I just kept everything that was doing with the regen in here. And this is the water filters. I tried to tuck that out so you would see, but then I kind of have it all off, except for it's mostly off the ground. I guess we'll see how this moves. It might be an issue when we're in ground.
Better than just laying on the ground.
I kind of think so, because it just like the bottom of this was all like gross and mildewy, and
Yeah.
I mean it's still the bottom of this will be now, but I don't know. We'll just try it and see if it works. But everything seems more orderly to me, and that's important.
Well, that's about it for a busy Sunday down on Andromeda. We're leaving in 14 days. It's hard to believe it's 14 days. We've been watching Dreamer all day. He moved his boat today from Detroit up to Port Huron. He's going to be making his way around the Great Lakes, going back to work a few times in between, but to see him take off this morning and follow his posts and watch him on Nebo,
Yeah.
it's getting real.
Right, because we're meeting him. He's coming here.
It's getting real quick. So we're heading back to the house to work on our real life, our land life, for a couple days, and then we'll come back to the boat. But we got a lot done. Kathy absolutely killed it organizing cupboards and closets. Our air horn, we've been listening all day and haven't heard the air pump kick on once, so
Right.
we might actually got that working. A new little snafu, of course, is our water heater, but sort of feels good to be down here and get everything going. But I don't know, where's your head at? I'm just like in the clouds, like I can't even believe what's going on.
Right. To me, we're at the stage that I've been excited about, because it's making it more real. We're getting everything clean and organized and prepped with stuff we need for this trip, not just for summer. So it's for leaving. So it's just like I cleaned out my clothes today. I have, so I can bring a new batch of things that are going to be for all seasons and
Dock clothes versus loop clothes.
Right, exactly. I need more jeans. I need more warm clothes for fall. But then
So it's getting real. It's 14 days. In 14 days, we've got to get the house in order, ourselves in order, get the boat loaded and stocked, and I got to make sure everything at work is squared away. And it's a busy time. I mean, it's worth the reward in the end. But for some reason, all of a sudden, I don't know if we're better at the last minute stuff or whatever, but all of a sudden it's real now. So
And sitting here this close together, Ollie needs a bath also before we go.
Somebody needs a bath. I'm gonna say it's Ollie, but we'll
Yeah.
sort it out. So
It's Ollie.
yeah, until next time, I guess.
Add that to her to-do. We would like to say a very special thank you to our Captain's Table patron, Tom M. And as always, a huge thank you to all our patrons. We couldn't do this without you.